Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Jay Dubansky with the Weather Co-op, and we are talking about Hurricane Francine. As a matter of fact, National Hurricane Center, about an hour ago, just issued their latest update from the latest reconnaissance flight that was flying through Francine, and they have noticed some intensification with the storm. So the latest numbers are the pressure has dropped to 979 millibars, and the winds are up to 85 miles per hour sustained in the storm. Movement is northeast at approximately 10 miles per hour, so a very slow mover right now, but we do expect that forward motion to accelerate a little bit as we go through tomorrow. We're looking at a pretty dangerous situation here for coastal Louisiana, and the reason that is a problem is because a lot of the coastline of very northeast Texas and Louisiana is at very low elevation. So it doesn't take a lot in terms of storm surge to push a tremendous amount of water pretty far inland there. So we're becoming more and more concerned about those impacts. The winds will be significant, don't get me wrong. If it does make landfall at 85 miles an hour, potentially 90 miles an hour, as some of the modeling has indicated, that will certainly do damage. And the key thing to note, we've already seen a tremendous amount of rain across coastal Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama, even coastal Texas, with that frontal boundary that was stalled for, I mean, it's really the last 10 days now, going on 2 weeks in that same general area. So you've seen a very, very significant amount of rain before Francine even decided to show up. So we're going to be dealing with some serious flooding problems there because the ground is super saturated, and you are about to get a lot more rain with this system. Get out of the way here. So here we have the circulation of Francine, and earlier in its life cycle, and I'm going to show you the high-res satellite in a moment, we were dealing with some dry air that was being drawn into the circulation. So it was keeping Francine from really intensifying more, say 24 hours ago. But it's been able to escape some of that dry air and get into an area now where, especially leading into nightfall and into the early evening hours tonight, we noticed some very rapid intensification, some very intense convection going on around the storm. And the center of the circulation, the rough center, was a pretty wide donut hole this afternoon, but that's now condensing and really starting to work itself into a very healthy looking Category 1 hurricane. You can see also the rain shield starting to get very close to the Louisiana coastline. Some of this outer element precip is more associated with that boundary that's still sitting there as an influence. So it's helping to add some more lift in the atmosphere and really bring out more rain. Not like you want to hear that. And the cloud shield even beginning to get up into the Tennessee Valley there. Water temperatures, with this graphic here, we have the water temperatures highlighted also. You can see the temps are still well into the 80s, 85, maybe even higher in that area where Francine is transitioning. And that will add to its ability to gain strength over the next 24 hours. Right now, we're expecting landfall sometime early afternoon on Wednesday. And if it does maintain this strength, and we're dealing with a strong Cat 1, potentially weak Category 2 hurricane, I mean, you always want to prepare for one category more than what the current conditions are. It's still going to be, we're dealing with an 80 to 90 mile an hour hurricane here, folks. And really the first impact for Louisiana directly this season. So we'll see what happens here moving forward. Take a closer look. You can see how we're really starting to get a nice concentric look to it now with the circulation here. It's not going to clear out for a while. Not going to see an eye probably until tomorrow. But even now, if you notice how in the western side of the storm doesn't have as much cloudiness here associated as does in the east side of the center of circulation. And that's because that dry air is still being drawn in from the west. It will help to inhibit its maturation and intensification as we go through tomorrow, but it's certainly on its way to being a healthy storm here. As far as projected path, all right, I want to cover that with you too. Looks like right now, unfortunately, most of the tidal surge is going to be brought up into an area of the Louisiana coastline where you already have a curved coastline. So it's going to act to funnel that storm surge even more and bring those water heights up even higher. Unfortunately, because there's a lot of low-lying ground here, marshland. I know this area well from driving along the coastline on 10. This is not boding well for you guys, and the severe setup for tornadoes here with the landfalling hurricane. You always have to look out for spin-up tornadoes, typically EF0, EF1, sometimes EF2s can be spawned as these areas of convection rotate in over the land. And the frictional element there helps to spin those, and that is not a good thing at all. So moving through here in the timing of this, as we work through Thursday, early morning Thursday, you can see that the storm by then will have at least weakened a bit. Still looking at the potential for a tropical storm force sustained wind here at 50 miles an hour, 7 a.m. on Thursday, and that's moving well inland. We're going way up into Louisiana here, getting up near Arkansas, but that threat for severe weather is going to expand as the system comes on shore, begins to spread out a little bit. It will still be pulling moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico, trying to feed itself. And those storms that do form will be a threat for Mississippi, for Alabama, for Georgia, for Florida. You're all going to have to be on the lookout Wednesday into Thursday. And then as the storm continues to move basically northward once it makes landfall and slow down, it's going to bring itself out over the Mississippi River Valley, and looks like we'll be dealing with this for quite a while here. As you can see, even by Friday at 7 o'clock, we're still forecasting a post-tropical low sitting up there in the mid-Mississippi Valley. So the steering winds really aren't going to be all that present at all, really, to take what would be left of Francine at that point out to the east. Really don't see anything being there to pick it up and move it very quickly. So the low itself is just going to sit there for quite a while and rain itself out. So we could be dealing with major flood issues up and down the mid-Mississippi River Valley into Tennessee, even some of the mountainous terrain there. If we get a considerable amount of rain, we could be dealing with flooding issues there. So I would say from the Louisiana coastline all the way up to even Ohio, Illinois, pretty much everyone in between, you're going to have to be on the lookout for this. You're going to feel some kind of effect from Hurricane Francine. And historically, I know we covered this. When did we start covering Francine? So we were covering this storm as a tropical wave on August 28th. It was the first time we made note of it in our forecast. And by the 29th, we were tracking it, and it made its way all the way across the Atlantic, then crossed over the Bay of Campeche, as you know, and formed into the system that is now Francine. But we were concerned about this storm for a long time here at Weather Co-op, and now you see why. All right, let's see what we can get into here. All right, the next concern is the health impacts from the wildfires in, well, really across the western United States in total, but we're going to focus on Southern California. Currently, we have several wildfires burning west of the Rockies and in the Intermountain West even. So the surface smoke hazards are going straight up, almost following I-15 actually, from the California fires, heading up through Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City's air quality this time of the year isn't great to begin with, typically. So it's definitely exacerbating that situation for people with breathing problems. Not a good few days to be out. And then the wildfires that are burning up in Washington and Idaho are also a problem there. We have several fires burning currently. And let me zoom in on Los Angeles here. So right now, we'll cover this in more detail on some more posts as we move through the night tonight. We have some just incredible video to show you that may surprise you from one of the live cams at Mountain High Ski Resort. We were able to get some video of that today. But currently we have 3 major wildfires burning around greater Los Angeles, Southern California. We have the Bridge Fire, which is just on the other side of Mount Baldy, actually. So it's maybe an hour away from downtown Los Angeles if you're not hitting traffic. You can see the glow, actually, if you're up in the elevated sections of I-10 today, or coming up over the hill on the 405 going into the valley, you can actually see the glow on the other side of the mountain by Mount Baldy. It's very, very sad to see that. But the Bridge Fire is now well over 30,000 acres. And on the backside of where that fire is burning, Route 2 runs through the mountains up there and past Mount Baldy and several campgrounds. There is a ski area called Mountain High, and its claim is that it's the closest ski area to Los Angeles, which it is. And the ski area was devastated by the wildfire this afternoon, which was a very, very sad thing to watch on the live cams. But we do have some footage there. We'll pass it on to you in a little while. We also have the line fire. So the Bridge Fire is burning in the San Gabriel Mountains, in the Angeles National Forest. The line fire is burning near San Bernardino, in the mountains above San Bernardino. And the line fire is also over 30,000 acres at last count, 32,000, I believe. And that fire is in danger, causing many mandatory evacuations up in the Highland area, off to the east side of San Bernardino. And then finally, we have the airport fire, which now is closing in on 20,000 acres. And that one is to the south in Orange County. That fire is 5% contained at last report, so really not much containment going on there. CAL FIRE is doing their best to combat these three major fires, but they are triangulating themselves around greater Los Angeles. So the air quality, as you can see here with this map, so this would be the poor air quality from the airport fire. And then here out in the desert, this would be from the impacts of the line fire, which is burning in this general area. And then finally up here, this is the smoke from the bridge fire. And all of that is just kind of moving out over the desert right now because we have a very light wind out of the west that is taking most of that smoke away from Los Angeles. But as I put this map into motion, you can see that here by Thursday, we could be dealing with a much different situation closer to Los Angeles, where we could be smelling that smoke, we could be seeing that smoke, we could be dealing with the health impacts of that smoke, certainly getting much closer to Los Angeles, so many more people being affected here. You're going to have to be aware of that as we work through the week. All right, finally, I'm going to step off camera and show you one last image. We have the high-res satellite of what is going on with our Hurricane Francine right now. And I have to make one change on the computer so that I can bring up the latest image for you. Let's see, where it is. I want to make sure we get the most updated image. Okay, here we go. All right, hopefully you can see this. Pretty sure you can by now.